You want to move the microphone closer to us, or is it just intended to be there?
I don't know.
Yeah?
This is what non-structural looks like.
I know. All right, we'll try.
You don't have a film crew, you don't have anything, it's like blurry.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but birds.
We'll change it. Yes.
So we were in Florida, and one of the things that I heard,
Bitcoin 2021.
yeah, and some of your community members who were amazing to meet in person came up and said, you know, this is great, it's so good to do this AMA in person and meet you, and we have feedback for you, which I think is really critical. And they said, you know, if you ever have a chance to do your early morning AMAs, or not AMAs, but if you ever have a chance to just do an early morning chat, you and Alex, you know, we kind of miss those moments, you know, when the community was much smaller, right? We would just kind of chat. So I thought I would do that with you, where there's nobody around. It's just you, me, and this bird sitting on my right shoulder.
Well, I think it's one of our Celsians. There's a lot to say. So
Just you, me, and this bird on my right shoulder chatting. Nobody around for miles. And we can kind of talk about anything. So last time I was talking about trying to decipher the press and who was with who and who owned which companies, and that turned out to be a much bigger topic over the past year.
yeah,
And still hasn't been untangled.
still getting worse and worse.
But moving on from that, you know, I don't know that we need a topic necessarily, but first I want to thank everyone who's followed us on the journey from last year, because I don't know, how big is the community now?
We're almost 1 million people. It's an army of almost 1 million people.
Wow. Well, Army is a bit aggressive. I mean, I feel like the community that you've built is, first of all, leaders, businessmen, businesswomen. They're leaders in their space. They're creative. You know, they're full of knowledge. They're educators. You know, I think that I look to them to learn. They could be wealth advisors. They could be teachers. They could be artists. You know, this community is, you know, I give them more credit than maybe what Army sounds like. But that's your word.
Yeah, I don't mean an army like we're going to go and conquer other lands. An army, you know, I used to be in the military, right? So in the military, there's very clear order and very clear purpose, very clear direction. Mm-hmm. And I feel that that's why the Celsian community is very, it has purpose, right? It's right. Again, this idea of do good and then do well is something that a lot of people prescribe to. They experienced it personally, and now they're going and right. Educating or explaining it to other people. I can tell you there's a lot of resistance. It's not like everybody we're touching or talking to says, oh my God, of course, let me do this.
But I'm just saying, you know, I think that within the community, at least the people I've met, you know, are, I think of in a creative way. And again, the topic doesn't need to be about business, but you know, when I think about how much it's grown since last year, you know, we've got a lot of people that have been able to take their resources and, you know, build families and, you know, meet new people, and we have new friends. And I think of it in such a positive, you know, uplifting way, you know, that it brings happiness. And that's kind of why I thought, you know, we should sit down today, because your community is, you know, said to me,
they wanted more of these things, right?
the softer side. No, it's just I think sometimes as companies grow and communities grow, it's hard to hold on to this impromptu kind of hanging out style. And I wish at some point you could do a hanging out with the community now that COVID restrictions have been lifted.
So we used to do a monthly event in New York and invite anyone who wanted to come and attend. We did that in our building, and because of COVID, obviously we stopped. But we're definitely planning to restart that. And after the summer, we're gonna have a lot of these events.
That's fun.
We're expecting several thousand people to show up.
Yeah.
So if you think of Miami as kind of celebrating Bitcoin, these events are going to be about celebrating financial independence, celebrating...
Again, that's very purposeful. I'm more talking about, like...
We can just hang out and have beers. I don't drink, but I'll be dispensing the beers.
Well, I mean, all of those things are super important, but I do think, we've all been through a lot this past year, right? And what I do find is... if you have 1 million people in your community, okay, I would never know that. I'm married to you, right?
I'm married to you too.
I would never know that's how many people. I mean, I think about, we have Strongers, right, within the business that I've started, right? And even we don't know how big we are, right? Because it's not tangible. We've all been kind of locked up for a year, and we don't know, you don't get to see or touch, other people. So it's all digital, right? We're all communicating through.
Well, one idea is to buy an island like the Bahamas or New
now
Zealand.
We're talking, people.
And all of us move there. Are you game for that? No.
I'm kind of game. So there's a woman in my community.
You didn't want to move to San Diego.
Hold on.
I wanted to.
There's a woman in my community. It's very interesting. It's Zoe's mom, Kim, and she mentioned to me. She's like, wouldn't it be fun if we were able to just go to an island and really experience what's going on, right? And see each other. And I actually think it's a great idea. I mean, that wasn't our topic today because I don't ever let you, I don't give you insight and I don't pre-think what we're going to talk about. I like it to be organic, kind of like my honey. I know your fans love when I bring up my honey and my bees. But listen, I am game for that. I think your fans would love that. I mean, we can't bring 1 million people to an island, but we can certainly, and you don't want it to be like that wacky island. What was that other island? I don't remember the name of it. Yeah. No, not Belize. The island where they had all the tickets and it was
Oh, no, that was just a party, yeah.
I don't remember the name of it.
Right.
Our kids wanted to go to it. You want it to be, organized. But I do think... you want something where people have that moment of just decompression and finding each other and understanding, this is how big.
Madison Square Garden. We fill up Madison Square Garden. We have a powwow.
Yes, you can do that too. So as we think about this next year, we nailed the topic that was on my mind really about, I was worried about this integration of news and TV and media and companies and not being able to decipher who owned what and who is dominating the topics, right? And I think we did a pretty good job of understanding that we had to call out that last year and that blockchain and making sure that people understood transparency at its core was something that had to be done. And if we think about this upcoming year, a hot topic on my mind will be not just verifying all of that. I think verifying goods and services is important, right? So you're verifying that line of financial, right? Would you say that?
Well, we help verify which sources of yield or which opportunities are safe and sound, and which ones are fake or high risk, right? So,
Okay, but
so
I'm
that's-
taking it a step further.
but so we actually take,
I
you
think
know,
it's goods and services,
yeah,
right? So how you do that?
honey and yield go very well together.
Yield. And you started to do that. I think that proof of community is something that's really interesting. And all of these things are meant to be positive. I think that that's what everyone needs to be careful of too. It can't be spun in a negative way. It's like these things are meant to be uplifting and empowering and positive. I think the world needs that. I think that it's important for those things to be uplifting. I think people are desperate for that.
Well, I think they're desperate for
I'm desperate
truth,
for that
for
lifting
truth,
up, right?
for transparency, for
Happiness.
kind of like, yeah. I mean, I think, a lot of people now when they look at social media, they realize that it's kind of like fake, and it actually creates distance between us. It was supposed to bring us closer together,
Right.
but it actually creates distance because people just don't spend any time together. I mean, everybody just worries about their online social persona,
Yeah.
which has nothing to do with who they are. And then, like, I see young kids or the young generation, they don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to interact. They can't look somebody in
Yeah.
the eye.
Yeah.
They don't know how to shake hands or
Yeah.
whatever, because their entire existence is online. They know how to kill all their enemies in the game, but and collect skins, but they have no clue how to do a barbecue together
Yeah.
and have fun. So
Yeah.
I think we need to actually take a few steps backwards instead of forward, and go and recover some of the things that made us who we are. I think this
Right.
technology is actually taking us in the wrong direction instead of in the right direction, and it's fine. We experimented. We need to correct.
But isn't blockchain technology? So that's a little bit.
Right, so
I'm
blockchain,
not-
yeah, I'm talking about social media, right? So blockchain
Yeah.
can help you basically validate or verify what is true and what is not true, who is authentic and who's not authentic. Because, again, you cannot lie to all the people all the time. And this
Right.
permanent record that is immutable, that is collected on tens of thousands of nodes that have nothing to do with you. You can influence them, you can't buy them.
But
You-
why? So I think that's a good point, because I think when you say that, people don't understand what that means. So you say it, but how come they can't influence it?
Because the infrastructure of the blockchain basically provides separate set of incentives to the people who are using the blockchain and the people who maintain the blockchain. The people who maintain the blockchain they have no interest in like running ads or getting your eyeballs or all the things that make social media work. And
Yeah.
many times you see stories appear in this or that publication, and the title has nothing to do with the story. The title is just a clickbait to get you to open it, see the ads, and so this or that publication can make money. And sometimes they
Which was
blatantly
our topic last summer.
right, but this is not just in crypto. I'm saying
Yeah, that's
now
what I mean.
it's pervasive across the entire internet. And
Yeah.
so the reason you have fake news
Yeah.
is not because people are trying to. Sometimes it's people are trying to sell you the wrong information, but a lot of the time it's they're trying to sell you ads.
Right.
So
Right. They have other incentives.
incentives on the blockchain. These incentives don't exist,
Yeah.
and they are actually guarded against because the blockchain has a separate, more pure set of incentives that allows
Right.
both for verification and for separation of incentive.
Here's my question though. When you talk to the young kids, like our kids in the house, you start talking like this, they glaze over, they don't know what you're saying, they've got no interest, right?
All
Why-
six of them. Yes.
Why would they be interested in this? Like they don't care. I'm sorry.
Well, I think they do care about
The end use,
having
or-
no. I think they care about having their own voice be heard.
Yeah.
And they've not connected the dots that this new infrastructure, this new technology is their opportunity to separate their opinions and their voice
Right.
from the previous generations. And so they're trying to be louder on social media. They're
But
trying to
it
create
doesn't
their
stick.
right. They're trying to create their own clan on their
Yeah.
or their own, like that's why they're so worried that me or you are gonna go and use any of the channels, you know, fake Insta, I don't know whatever they're using,
Thin stuff.
Finsta, you know, like God forbid if I got on Finsta, oh my God,
No,
they're
it's Instagram. It's just that it's their
fake identity. Yes,
It's
I understand.
not a separate channel.
Finsta. Well, it is a separate channel because it's a separate identity
I know.
that they manage
I
on
know,
Insta.
I know.
So my point is just that the reason they're hiding, one, they don't want us to know what they're doing, but second, they want to voice themselves in a different way, which really they cannot rise above the noise in the traditional
Right,
channels.
but I still haven't connected.
No one cares about them.
Well, I know, but I have not yet been able to help them connect how this.
Right. So we haven't simplified. The new technology is more
Yeah.
complex and
Yes.
slower, and so they're looking at it and saying, you know,
It's
why
not
would
jazzy,
I use this?
It's not, you know.
But I think
yeah.
look, I think you're gonna see some celebs figure it out,
Yeah.
and just like TikTok blew up because people realize what it's good for,
Yeah.
you're gonna have the same thing here, and I think you
Right.
know, I think people instinctively people understand what is real and what is not real, what is
Yeah.
true and what is not true.
Right.
So sometimes you just need to give it a little bit of time, you know, and I know the blockchain is 30 years old, you know, but so it's not like we haven't given it time.
It's an old lady.
It's an old lady, but like anything, like your tie-dye here,
Yeah.
it came back to life after how many years? When was the last time tie-dye was a thing? 20 years, 30 years? So not. Sometimes you just gotta give it time.
Your daughter made this.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like sometimes you need to give it time, and
Right.
and you know, all these things kind of converge, and you have this new confluence of things
Right.
take effect, and all becomes new.
Yeah. Kind of like you.
I became an overnight success after 35 years. I know, you know.
Old becomes new.
I've been preaching this do good, do well for 35 years, and suddenly everybody wants to listen to that. I know. So, look, again, voice of IP, fighting with the phone companies. And
Nobody knows what a phone is, honey, anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that's coming back. You know, like the green Amex is becoming like this iconic thing to have in your wallet. So the kids are like begging me to find a green Amex, not to use, just to like
Show, yeah,
have,
yeah.
right? Because it's everything from the early, they call it Y2K. So maybe
So-
they're gonna look for a dial phone
Yeah.
back on the wall.
But my point is that how many people stick to their guns and keep the fight
Right.
and willing to take on the, you know, like the parts of society that take advantage of us, and
Right.
so again, those used to be our heroes. Right now, our heroes are
Yeah.
people who have you know, a show on TV or
Well, you have a show.
well, I'm talking about, you know, like
Well,
you know,
listen. I think that this is again why I think you need to have this remote, great, you know,
Is that why we're here?
Minds
Remote?
coming together. You know, I think you got to open it up. I think you need to have these sessions. I think your community wants to be more inclusive, not exclusive. I think that it's about getting together in real time with more people. You know, I heard it in Miami. They were saying, you know, how they want to see us more on, you know,
Hi,
natural,
here we are.
organic, you know, kind of streaming. But it also felt like they really loved to see everyone in person. So I think that that's a really good challenge in this
that was
upcoming
amazing.
year.
I mean, shaking hands,
Yeah.
with 5,000 people
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
And we gave out over 5,000 T-shirts. We ran out of swag.
Yeah.
Everything just disappeared.
Well, what I loved about
In a
what
day and
you
a half.
did was that you didn't spend your time worrying about getting yourself on stage and showcasing yourself. You were on the floor constantly meeting, and that's what I hear a lot. It's like you're talking to every single person. You're on every channel all night talking to people, and that takes a lot of energy. Like, I see what you're going through 24 hours a day, making sure that you connect with as many people as you can. I mean, that one night that you got jumped in that room by all those guys, where, you know, I was a little scared, but you held your own. Oh man, you held your own. Oh man.
You're talking about the clubhouse?
I don't know what house
The
it was.
clubhouse.
You know,
Maxie's.
But you know, you took every question. You handled it like a pro. I don't think I could have done that.
I crashed the wedding. I wanted the desserts, and they all came attacking me like.
Yeah, but you know what? You held your own, and I got to give credit to those guys a little bit for coming at you, because I think if anything, it actually elevated you to another level. Because if you can actually handle that and not lose it or scream, that's a pretty big thing. Because I don't know that I could have just handled every question, and they kind of helped you get to another level in my mind, whether they wanted to or not.
Well,
you know.
Celsius doesn't really try to help that group. I was just trying to have a dialogue.
No, I know.
With a group of people that normally I don't interact with. I mean,
Okay,
if
but you interacted with them.
If you're a Bitcoin maxi, I usually, or you not your keys, not your coin guy.
I don't even know what that means.
I usually don't interact with you because I don't need to help you. You're already helping yourself.
Okay, but that's not the topic. My point is, you did it. You were in the room, and
yes.
Regardless if they were trying to help you or not.
I got like 15 emails from
You handled
Celsius
it.
saying, "Is everything okay? Are you in a good mood? Don't listen to those guys." They were worried about me. They were like,
know,
"Oh,
but
you know."
again, you handled it, and
Yeah. So
you know.
basically, we realized that we cannot talk to those people.
yes, you can. Okay, that's not the point. The point is, you did, and you.
There's no
handled it.
point talking to those people.
Oh
I'm
my
just-
gosh.
I'm just kidding.
So they're not invited to the island?
No.
Is that what you're telling me?
Not in Maxis, Bitcoin Maxis, not invited to the island.
Yes, they're voted off
Okay?
the island before.
You voted off the island, okay?
Before they're even coming. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay.
So many idioms. you see?
Okay, yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad we did this morning. I know you got to run. We'll try and do more of these impromptu on the porch type of chats where we have no topics. We're just hanging. I know
With our forest behind us.
with our birds
Hi, birds.
and my honey.
Yeah.
Save the bumblebees. Save the queen bee. We love you. Thank you. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah,
Bye,
see you soon.
everybody.
Bye, guys.